Hey everybody! I somehow felt that these two videos called for an audio commentary, not only because of the complexity of the sketch, but also because of how the story of Naruto is developing at the moment. So let's focus on the sketch in this video first. I cut out most of the shaping process because it's not very interesting to watch and I wanted to jump straight into the details here. So we'll zoom in a second so that you can see what I'm doing in there. I simply forgot this first part of the sketching. And yeah, in terms of difficulty, I had the most difficulty drawing this young Sasuke on the left. I don't even know why. Maybe because we haven't seen Sasuke like this in so much time. Like, I felt like I had no connection with this character at all, because I don't remember when I watched the first episodes of Naruto back then, and now he has come so far and changed so much visually and character-wise. So, I don't know, it was kind of hard to get it in there. And yeah, the arm is outrageously long, which I'm gonna correct in a second. Right now, first one was a fail, second one was not a fail. So I also completely underestimated how far to the side his hair could go, so I had to take a tiny piece of paper and glue it to the back of my paper in order to get the hairstyle there. It doesn't make the picture pretty, but it gets the job done, and since I don't ink on the same paper, this doesn't really matter. So now we're coming to the second picture I selected for this little transformation or progression picture, whatever you want to call it. And this is from the time when Sasuke got his curse seal from Orochimaru, and he's in pain in this picture because of the curse seal. And I don't know how self-explanatory the title is, but I wanted to depict Sasuke from left to right, with left being the youngest and right being the oldest, and yeah. So I had to select certain scenes from the series, which I thought would mark some kind of change to him in terms of his character and in terms of his appearance. So I settled for what I drew here. And yeah, in the pre-sketch I made this stage of Sasuke was kind of, I don't really like it. It looked a bit weird and not very convincing. So I always, or almost always, make pre-sketches to stuff I'm showing here on YouTube because I need to see how everything looks and whether it's worth a real picture and whether something would work out in terms of everything, basically, in terms of how it looks, in terms of anatomy, symmetry, picture, composition, etc. And then I do this real sketch I'm doing right now, which will also be the base for the inking process. And I like this version of him right here, right now, a lot better because it's way more convincing and it has more of an expression to it. So now we're getting to this full curse mode, like when he's going berserk, and these lips were a constant struggle. I already don't draw these type of lips on female characters, and now I had to draw them on a male character, and that was some kind of, yeah, some kind of challenge to it. But this was the first character, or I always say character, although it's the very same character over and over. Although visually you might not even believe that, but you know what I mean. So this was the first stage of Sasuke where I got the hair in pretty fast and pretty accurately because, oh my gosh, the hair. I had so many issues with the hair, and you can see me fail so many times during this video because this hair from this series is so completely different from how I draw hair, so I had to completely surrender my way of doing it to that way of doing it, and yeah. So I thought in advance that the most most challenging part about this stage was going to be the belt and the wings. And they weren't even really challenging, both of them, because when I drew them, I figured some kind of like regularities to them, and I was especially nervous because of the belt, because it looks so intricate when you look at pictures from the series. But yeah, now you can see me get these individual segments in there pretty quickly, and they're just little rounded squares or square-shaped circles or whatever you want to call them. So that was actually okay, but I still wouldn't want to draw this character over and over and over again throughout the whole manga, depicting him with this belt. So yeah, now we're getting, oh, I didn't even realize when I did this how close I went to the edge of the camera frame, but it worked out eventually because it was right at the bottom. Like now we're going there, his heel and his sandal. Yeah, it's cut off a teeny tiny bit, but you can still see what I'm doing there. So yeah, this is gonna be fun to color, I guess. I'll see. So there's his sword and his shirt, which is kind of always floating around when he's in that stage because, I don't know, I read somewhere that it would tear apart if his wings grow, etc. So speaking of which, his wings were drawn based on the pictures in terms of what they look like, but they are not the original ones proportion-wise. Because in the original, they're way bigger and they cover a larger surface, and this was something I could not pull off for this drawing because I did not have the space, firstly, but secondly, I also didn't want his wings to cover like super huge part of the canvas. I wanted the part of Sasuke, which is on the right side, I wanted this part to be biggest and the other ones to be a bit smaller. And this wing cluster or pattern, which the original had, couldn't fit into it. So I just condensed the wings down to the size they have right now. I think it still looks okay. And if I hadn't told you this specific piece of information, maybe you wouldn't even have noticed that. So yeah, now we're getting to the current stage of Sasuke. Like, can I say that there's a war at the moment without spoilers? I think everyone knows that there's a war right now, right? So, yeah, in a minute you'll see a horrible hair fail. Like, right now. Look at that, it looked like a cat scratched him or something. Let's pretend this never happened, or correct some facial features, blah 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 blah, and try this again. Going up, face, up, 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 down, down, and that looks okay. So yeah, his hair was super hard for me to draw, whereas his clothes weren't, because they were so wide and floaty. So yeah, and this version right now is also pretty similar to the full Curse one. Like, the belt and the trousers are the same, he's just wearing a different shirt right now. And just in case you're wondering, I won't record the inking for this picture because it fits in neither of the two videos. Like, the sketching video is long enough, as you can see right now, and the coloring will take me more time than that, or approximately the same time, so it won't fit in there anywhere. And now you can see a pivot point of my hand fail, twisting and bending my arm, and it just didn't work out for the top right diagonal of his hat because that's just the way it was. And even now you can see that it didn't work, even though I twisted my arm and tried to get it in there and everything, but I'll correct this in a few moments. Now let's get to the face, and I don't know whether Sasuke will keep these eyes for the future or not, but I have drawn him like this at the moment, and I think I need to explain something to this picture right now, because people would be like, no, this will not work, and Naruto is supposed to be Hokage, and blah. So I'll talk about this in the next video, because I feel like this deserves some more explanation. And yeah, there are his 2 eyes. Looks super freaky to me, because the rest is just clothes and hat, and then you have these eyes like bam. And here you can see me, I don't know, I'm kind of struggling with the kanji. I don't even know why. It's no hard kanji, but it's still kind of lopsided, and I tried to correct this during the inking, and there you can see me lose my patience. I detached the picture from the glue which held it to the table in order to get these details in there. So yeah, that was it. As I said, I'm gonna talk more about the current story of Naruto, of course without any spoilers to people who are waiting for the anime to come out, and that's it. Bye!